now's the time of the day where we get to read our bedtime story together. So, are you ready? Are you snuggled in? Have you got a comfy blanket ready? I've got Alfred with me again this week. He loves sitting to hear the bedtime story. Gets him ready for his bedtime. So are you comfy? Are you cozy? I've got my box of books. Shall we see which book we're going to read together this week? Which one shall we go for? I think this week we're going to read The 1 o'clock Miracle. Are you ready? Make sure you're sitting and you're comfortable. You ready to read this together, kids? Here we go. The 1 o'clock Miracle. Long, long ago, there lived an important man who worked for the king. He was sad and so worried. His son was very ill, so ill that he was going to die, and no one could help him. This with his son there, it's made him really sad. He heard that a man named Jesus was doing the most amazing, wonderful things. He heard that Jesus was making ill people well again. He heard that Jesus was doing things only God can do. So the man decided to ask Jesus for help. You can see here, look, he's made people walk again who couldn't walk. He's made people see again who couldn't see. So this man wanted Jesus to help his son. The man and his son lived in a place called Capernaum by the sea. So that's all the way up here. But Jesus was staying in Cana, more than 20 miles away. It's all the way down here. So they were really far apart. It was a very long walk and uphill all the way. But the man had decided that he must see Jesus. So he said goodbye to his son and his family, and he set off to see Jesus. Up the hill he walked and sometimes ran because he wanted so badly to see Jesus. The sun went down, the night was dark, and the stars were bright, but the man didn't stop. Huffing and puffing, he walked and sometimes ran, hurrying to see Jesus. The sun came up, the morning arrived, but there was still such a long way to go. Puffing and panting, the man walked and he sometimes ran, because he needed to see Jesus. At last, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the man reached Cana, the town where Jesus was. He had walked and sometimes ran, and now at last he could get to see Jesus. Do you imagine walking all that way? You'd be so tired. "Please, sir," he said, "my son is dying. Please come with me. Please make him better." The man knew that if Jesus came with him and touched his son, the boy would be well again. But Jesus just said, "Go." What? Go home without Jesus? After all that walking and even running to get Jesus to come? But Jesus hadn't finished. "Go," Jesus said, and then he added, "Your son will live." And the man believed him. Jesus wasn't going to come to the man's home. He wasn't going to touch the boy to make him well, but the man still trusted that what Jesus said was true. So down the hill he walked and sometimes ran because he believed Jesus. And the sun went down. The night was dark and the moon shone brightly. The man felt so tired, but on and on he walked and sometimes ran because he trusted Jesus. And can you see what he's thinking about as he walks? He's thinking, "Your son will live," which are the words that Jesus said to him. And the sun came up, a new morning arrived, and still he had to walk and walk. Though his back ached and his legs were very tired. Sure, we all know how that feels, don't we, when we're on a long walk and our legs get tired and we just want to stop. But on he walked, and he sometimes ran, because he was sure Jesus would make his son well. And he carries on thinking to himself, your son will live. Then, far away in the distance, he saw some men. They came closer and closer. They were his own servants. They must have news, he thought. But what would it be? Sir, they said, it's your son. He is alive. He is well again. And the man was bursting for joy. When the man asked, when did he get better? Yesterday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock, the men replied. Then the man remembered. It was 1 o'clock when he saw Jesus. It was 1 o'clock when Jesus said his son would live. And it was 1 o'clock when his son got better. Jesus didn't need to go and see the boy. He didn't need to walk and walk. He didn't have to run. Jesus simply spoke. And just like that, the boy was better. Wow! Only Jesus could do that. And do you know why? Because Jesus is God's Son. So happy and smiling, the man walked home, and sometimes he ran to see his son again. Then he told his son and his family about Jesus and how Jesus could do things that only God can do. And they all believed in Jesus, God's Son, too. And now that the man's son was well, what could he do? He could smile and he could laugh. He could walk and he could run, and all because of Jesus. Hey kids, well, I hope you enjoyed that story. Wasn't it amazing to hear about Jesus can do a miracle, and he wasn't even in the same place as the boy that was poorly. So I'm going to take a moment to pray for you right now and pray over your weeks. And maybe some of you have actually felt a little bit poorly recently, or you know someone who's poorly, or you've got a friend who's poorly, or maybe someone in your family is, or maybe you've got a great week coming up. But I'm just going to take some time to pray over you right now, that you would know the power of Jesus and that Jesus can speak to you and make you well. So to help you in this moment, why don't you put your hands together and close your eyes, just so we can concentrate on speaking to Jesus. Alfred's going to do the same so we can all pray together. Dear Jesus, I pray for every child watching. And I pray right now, if there is a child watching who doesn't feel very well, that Jesus, you would make them better. We just ask that you would help to make them feel completely better again. And Jesus, I ask this week that every child watching, wherever they go this week, would know that they can speak to you at any time, Jesus, and you can help them wherever they are. Amen. Well, kids, I hope you have a really wonderful week. We'll see you soon for bedtime stories. Bye.